y'all? It's Young Rick with Westside Level, and today we're getting into the lesson of how to mix and level out our drums. So before we actually get into anything, let's start off by giving a listen to how our drums sound. All right, so basic drums. What we want to start off with and how we want to start off by leveling our drum is picking our favorite element. What my favorite element is going to go ahead and be is this 808, which I colored black. So we're going to go ahead and solo the 808 to where nothing but the 808 is playing. And then we're going to pull up our channel strip. All right, so it's sounding pretty good, sounding pretty clean, but there is things that we can do to this 808. So the first thing I'm going to want to do starting off with our 808 is we're going to start off with some compression, which is going to be in this upper right section of our channel strip. So let's go ahead and start off by raising our ratio. I'm going to shoot for 3-to-1. All right, also because it's a bass element, I know I'm not going to want too much punch or too much transient out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a fast attack by engaging this fast attack button rather than if I didn't have this engaged, the attack will be slow. So we're going to make the attack of our compressor fast. All right, from here we're going to go ahead and take our threshold knob and we're going to start bringing it down until we see some gain reduction going down on this meter. I'm going to shoot for about 3 decimals. Okay, so as we can see, when we pulled that threshold down, the 808 got a lot more fat. So the last thing we're going to go ahead and do is play with our release. Now again, the psychology behind the release is we want to give it as much release as possible to get the compressor sound into our signal. But we want to, if we understand that if we go too far with our release, it'll destroy the groove, which we don't want to do. So let's try not to destroy the groove. And we're keeping in mind that the BPM of this beat is 90 BPM. So it's probably going to be on the faster side with the release. Okay, so as far as the release, I chose 15 milliseconds because it's starting to thick up our sound, but it didn't go too far to where it destroyed our release. So next, what I'm going to go ahead and do is engage this split button right here. And what the split button is going to do is make sure that when I add EQ to our 808, that it comes after our compressor. So let's go ahead and engage that real quick. And then next, I'm going to go ahead and add some EQ to our 808. And the psychology, what I'm thinking about with our 808 is our compressor gave us some thickness, but it also, we know what compressors do, which is destroy dynamics. So what we're going to use our EQ to do is bring back the dynamics and some of the fundamental frequencies of our 808 that we want to stand out. And that fundamental frequency I'm going to go ahead and pick is around 100 hertz. So we're going to try to bring the dynamics around 100 hertz back to our 808. I'm going to go ahead and engage this bell button. What that's going to do is make sure that when I boost with this bottom band, that instead of it being a shelf, it'll be a bell type shape. So that's all this is going to do. So you can see I gave it about a 3 dB boost at around 100 hertz. And that's pretty much all I want to do. We got some compression. We added some EQ. The last thing we want to do is set a level for it. I'm going to go ahead and pick 18 decibels for our level for our 808. Perfect. Now that we have it sitting at 18 decibels, let's go ahead and move to our next element, which is going to be our clap drum. All right, so the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do with the clap drum is cut out some of that low end information by using this low pass filter right here on the upper right of our channel strip. So let's go ahead and get that started. I have our low pass sitting at around 100 hertz, so we're leaving 100 hertz and under strictly for that 808 and that kick, so it can sound real clean, very clear and precise. Now, next thing I want to do with this clap is we're going to go straight into compression and see if we can get some more tone out of it. So let's go ahead and go to our compressor, and then like unlike our 808, what we're going to do is we're going to keep our attack slow. Why? Because we do want a little bit of impact transient come out of this kick. So let's start off by go ahead setting our ratio, and then I'm going to go ahead and push down our threshold, and we'll see what sound we get out of there. All right, so I like where our threshold is sitting right now. So we're going to next give it some release. And again, we want to give it as much release as we can, but we don't want to destroy the groove. So let's go ahead and see what we can do with that. And as you can see, I got it sitting right under 15 milliseconds. That gives it a nice tone. So let's go ahead and EQ this up, because again, we squashed some of those dynamics. So let's bring some of those back in some of the tones we want. And I noticed with claps, I'm gonna the mid-range usually brings out a great tone in the clap. So I'm gonna go ahead and focus on this green area and go fishing from 3K up, and let's see how that sounds. Okay, so yeah, I gave it around a 3 dB boost at around 3K because I noticed that's where we got the most bite out of our clap. So now that we gave it some EQ, let's go ahead and get this level down. And where I want our clap is I want it sitting a little bit above the 808. Perfect. So as you can see, we got the clap just sitting right above 18 decibels. So let's go ahead and move to our next element, which is going to go ahead and be this blue one, and that's going to be our kick drum. First thing I'm going to want to do with this kick drum is we're going to go straight into compression. Let's go ahead and leave it with a slow attack and start dialing in our ratio and threshold. Perfect. And as you can see, when we added that compression, that 3-to-1 compression, it made our kick a lot more solid, just rock hard. So that's sounding really good. Now we're going to go ahead and move to our EQ. And again, we're going to engage this split button so that the EQ can come after the compression. And as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and check our clap and make sure we engage that split button. Perfect. All right, so let's go back to our kick and let's start adding some EQ. We want to restore those dynamics that we destroyed, and we want to pick a fundamental frequency that's unique to us, that we know where the kick drum is going to pop out. So I'm going to go ahead and fix my attention on this blue section of our EQ right here. And I'm going to go ahead and go fishing from 300 up to 800 and see if we can get some fatness in our drum. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I picked just above 300 because I noticed right there I got a tone that I really liked out of the kick. It really fattened up our kick and really made it punch out. So now that we added our EQ, the last thing I'm going to go ahead and do with our kick drum is pick a level for it. And with the kick drum, I want it sitting on top of everything. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot for 15 decibels when I'm leveling this kick drum. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and move on to our last element, which is going to go ahead and be our percussion. So the first thing I'm going to, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next element, what is percussion. And the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do with this percussion is I'm going to go ahead and roll off some of that low end energy using our filters. Okay, so now that I cut out some of that low end energy, I don't really want to do any compression or any processing. The next thing I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna pan it in the stereo field. If you've noticed with our 808, our clap, our kick, we left it in the center. And with this percussion, I'm gonna either move it left or right. I think I'm shooting for the right. Let's go ahead and pull up Pan Man. And let's start fishing for an area where we want to pick our percussion. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so as you can see, I panned it to the right, and I left the level of our percussion right above 24 decibels, because I wanted it above all of our instrumentation, but I didn't want it too loud over our clap or any of our other drums. So we got it sitting right at a good level, right around that 24 decibels. And for a final, we're going to go ahead and unmute all of our processing and hear how our drums sounded before, and then we're going to hear an after. Let's go ahead and do that. So here's how our drums sounded before they were leveled and processed. Here are our drums after they were leveled and processed. All right, and that is the lesson for today. Like always, if you have any questions, leave it in the comment. Go ahead, give me a like. If this helped you out, go ahead, subscribe. Westside Level. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Y'all be smooth. Gone.